An unsportsmanlike gesture by the Wolverines. Unnecessary. They've won the game.
You know, that's just bad for the sport, bad for college football. But at the end of the day, you know, some people gotta learn how to lose, man. You can't be fighting and stuff just because you lost the game. You know, all that fighting, we had 60 minutes, we had 4 quarters to do all that fighting.
To make the college football playoff. Frazier straight ahead and straight in. Oh, it's great in 8. Georgia wins it.
Time for Sellers. Eludes the pressure. There he goes. Lenora Sellers again to the end zone. He made it. 2 plays before a potential field goal attempt. Klubnik buys some time. It wasn't picked up. Was it intercepted? It was. Knight picked it up.
Field along with Juan Davis, the tight end. Big moment early. Manning with a keeper, and Arch Manning still rumbling, banging down near the pylon.
As far as his legs, he uses that strength.
Where did he step out? He didn't.
He hit the pylon. That should be a watch him turn and run 2 as a receiver. Now you see the Texas players. That was Silas Bolden reacting.
Lee's highly outnumbered in there.
Howell's trying to get Bolden running a route. See, gets tangled up again.
My goodness, that was a body slam here. Watch this. Slings down Golden. Lee so far tonight. Ewers facing pressure. Ball deflected. It's intercepted. The flag is down, and Will Lee, the third, is headed for the end zone. Texas A&M. Pressure comes. He spins free, and he'll be knocked down. Ball is out. Texas falls on it. It's Vernon Broughton.
Personal foul on that play.
You know, I don't think that this is reviewable as they're looking, or a reviewable aspect, but I can tell you what.
Pull it up and throw the sideline. It's intercepted by the guy that's been picked on all day. Christian Gray down the sideline. Gray still going, and he is on his way for a Notre Dame touchdown. Lava on 4th and 6, and it's intercepted again, this time in the end zone. And Xavier Watts, he wants some of what his teammate had. He's going to take it coast to coast as well. 100 yards. A loss of 6. Smith, backside pressure, got it away. Picked off at the 30. Travis Hunter, another one. Sanders on the slant. Hunter, Heisman and Hunter. You can't have one or the other without the H. Self-inflicted wounds today for the Cowboys with penalties. Sanders rolling out, fires touchdown, and it's time to maybe strike up top into the end zone. Caught! How did he make that one? Travis Hunter.
And he just continues to chug along as he tries to solidify himself as that Heisman front runner.
And by the way, he only gets better as the game gets older. Like this, right on cue.
Elephant personnel in the game for Syracuse. Allen, touchdown! Syracuse leads again. That these moments expect them at Syracuse. A stunner at Syracuse. The Orange come from 21 down and take down Miami.
In the middle of the field with fans on the field, this is not a pretty scene. This is
not good.
This is scary. You got players with their helmets off.
This is a bad scene. Both in the middle of the field, the fight is spilled over to the end.
These people don't give a shit.
Who's giving them the business? The business.
All the man is out on the field. He's going to go into the end zone. He's got it. Goes Davis. Oh my God. Davis is going to run it all the way back. He's going to win the field. It's going to be to the goal line. It's going to be gone. It's a touchdown. And the Gators have won the game.
50 to the 40. Herbert Whitfield to the 30 to the 20. 15, 10, 5. Touchdown FSU.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of College Football Extravaganza. I'm Rob. He's Justin. How you doing, Justin? We got a lot to go over tonight. We got conference championship games coming up. We got Heisman that we need to talk about. Lock in who we'd like for Heisman. We got rivalry games to go over. Such a great rivalry week, honestly, and a whole lot to look forward to. So. How you doing? We had to miss a couple weeks because shit's busy. Shit's busy.
Your mic's pretty shitty right now. I'm not gonna front.
My mic's pretty shitty.
Unless it's both of our mics. But there you go. Does that help it?
We are experiencing all sorts of technical difficulties today.
Yeah, still.
I think it's fine. I don't know.
No, trust me, it's bad.
What is going on? All right, we're gonna have to pause this and figure something out. We're gonna start soon. All right, we're doing some live testing here to see if we get double. All right, we're doing some live testing here to see if we get double. What was that? What was that just played?
My phone.
Your phone?
Mm-hmm.
Here, let's see. Check 1, 2. Yeah, we're getting this one. Guys, I don't know what's going on with the Eve Moo tonight and last night. It was giving me intense issues with the double. We're doing some live testing here. That's awful.
Yeah, we're just giving it feedback now.
Oh, no, that's gonna be it because it's gonna be. Yeah. Check 1 2. Check 1 2. Maybe it's that. Maybe I'll unplug 4. Did you mute your mic over there?
Yeah.
Did you mute your?
No,
You know what? You know what? There we go. That's gonna be it. I wasn't muting. I didn't mute that one. That's it.
So
We fucking sleuthed it out.
gas was still coming through here.
It was coming through the webcam right there. Yeah, not so. None of. Yeah. So we have to remember to always mute the second one because that's tied into the guest one.
Well, now I'm not hearing you over here. They can hear me.
If y'all are in the chat, hop in. Let me know if you hear me.
All right, that sounds better.
I think we're good. I'm gonna turn my game, my shit back up.
Okay, turn the game back to where it was. Let's get this thing done. Man, that was just ugly stuff.
Dude, that was rough. That was super rough.
That was ugly.
All right. Take fucking 2. Let's fucking go. College football. It's a conference championship week, Justin. It's a huge fucking week. This season has gone by so fast, and it's been one of the best seasons, like, as far as, like, upsets, just drama, chaos. It's been a great season for all that. But we got to get into it. We got to talk about the playoffs. We got to talk about Heisman. We got to talk about the games that just passed, all the flag planting, shit like that. How'd you enjoy your rivalry week?
Rivalry week was crazy, man. I mean, that was just unreal. Like, it was overall, we saw a new tradition possibly of flag planting or a soon-to-be banned tradition of flag planting. Overall, through and through, a beautiful slate of games, all of them delivered in ways that you could have expected, and definitely some that was like, that was supposed to happen. And that's the best way that we can get into this right now, is probably starting it off hot with Ohio State and Michigan. Big noon kickoff for the 7th straight week they go. Man, as an Ohio State guy, you cannot be a fan of what happened Saturday. As an Ohio State fan, you can't be a fan of what happened. And probably just as a spectator of college football, you're asking, how does this happen? Your one job when you coach at now trademarked, the Ohio State University, is to win, but more importantly, win against the team up north.
Which they haven't done in, 4 years now?
4 years.
4
Ryan
years
Day is 1-4. 1-4 in the big one. Just not what you can be doing.
No. And it's pretty disappointing when you lose to your rivalry team and they take potentially, they do take your shot at the Big Ten championship away. Now Indiana and Oregon are there, and you're sitting on the sidelines. You kind of got to hope that the playoff committee will let you in. I think they will, but, we'll get into that a little bit later. But as far as the flag planting goes, you mentioned it earlier. You think it might be banned. You think that this tradition in the offseason.
Well, there's going to be investigation, especially to the Ohio State Michigan one.
Twitter's low on the feed on the left. We can turn it down even more. This is one of the better angles I saw of this altercation. So Michigan comes in, then the Ohio State players come in. I saw one angle from the press box where like it was only Michigan players on the middle of the field. They were doing their thing and planted the flag disrespectfully, as some people might add, and then this fight breaks out. I've never seen two people have to get maced. I've never seen people have to get maced.
That's why it's going to get banned if it does, because two very heavily paid scholarship players got maced, and that's just not good for the NCAA. It's not good for Michigan, Ohio. It's definitely just not good for college football in general. It's not good for the players. It's not a good look on anybody. That the reason why everyone is there at the Horseshoe that day is to watch those players on that field. And so for the fact of the matter that those players got maced because of a scuffle, it's not good.
I fucking love it. And how can you not love this, dude? And look at this right now. We'll even go back to it. We'll go back to this full screen. This is he rips the Michigan flag off, dude. How can you just not get pumped for that?
That's Captain Jack right there, man. That's he's been the main figure of the team for the past few years, but he is 0-4 against Michigan now.
Mm-hmm.
That was supposed to be his big game right there, and he did not deliver.
This is going to be one of the biggest things he's remembered for in this rivalry, ripping that flag away. If you're an Ohio State guy. But like you said, this was a theme. This was a theme throughout college football this weekend. And, I mean, Ohio State, Michigan, like you said earlier, was it yesterday or I think you said that set the trend for the other games, and then they started doing it. And I'm not sure if I like that they just did it because it was trendy, you know?
Well, yeah. So I mean, Ohio State, Michigan, they did it as a pure bad blood rivalry, and then you had North Carolina State, then you had Arizona State, and then you had Florida State.
They playing at the Pitchfork.
That was badass, but the bad thing is you can't throw that around like it's a flag when you're in a scuffle, because that thing could actually fuck someone up.
You could impale someone with
that could fuck someone up.
Well, say if Florida State could take their if they could take their spear. Florida State in the past has taken the spear and planted it in the Gators field, and then one of the Gator players like snapped it in half or something like that. I remember seeing this growing up, and I was like, that's pretty legit that he would take it and snap it. I don't know. This is what college football is all about, though. This is exactly what it's about. So we kind of any last thoughts on Ohio State, Michigan?
As the game itself, yeah, I got a lot. It's just like you can't. I mean, it's funny because Michigan fired their offensive coordinator after this game.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just. Yeah, I mean it's bad.
Now, Michigan fans, people were talking about disrespect and stuff like that, and buddy, I'm telling you, on the other end, I know how it comes out. It's coming out super low because it's Twitter. Twitter replays through but we don't need any sound anyway. We can mute this one. If you look at it here, this is the Ohio State marching band. I don't know what's the name of the Ohio State marching band.
Baddest damn band in the land.
Taking a shit on the Michigan flag here with a bear. It's like a bear taking a shit on the Michigan flag here. So Michigan fans are posting this and saying, "Hey, that's kind of disrespectful." I think rivalry is built for disrespect, right? It's not. It's a violent sport, right? You got a bunch of guys who are competitors, and it hurts if you get your season taken away from you like that. But the whole rivalry is like that. The fans hate each other. It's a rivalry for a reason, and that's why you're going to continue to see it, even if it's banned. Even if it's banned, you're going to see flag planting. You're going to see something going on. The Seminoles have a Gator head, for God's sakes. Then the Gators made a Seminole head.
Yeah, I mean, what repercussions can you enforce, really, except for fighting the school at that point? But
Yeah, I don't want to see any more fines, to be honest. That's just more. That's just more money towards the NCAA. I fucking hate the NCAA, so it is what it is. But no, the game itself, man. Michigan held Ohio State to, what was it, 10 points? Final score 13-10. You know, one of the most talented offenses in all of college football. And one of the most expensive rosters in all of college football.
Yeah, I mean,
it's 10 points.
It comes down to a couple things. You lost because you had 2 missed field goals, so that's going to play a factor. Off a kicker though, Fleming's been automatic all year long. Like he's been automatic all year long. He's only missed 1 field goal. So missed it 2 against Michigan. Who knows what that could have been? But Will Howard, this is definitely where I think this falls on him. But yeah, like this is just overall, I blame Will Howard. I just don't know how this could be a situation going forward, like that you can't find a proper quarterback to put out there. And the guy who you had out there last year who lost, who I still don't think is the right guy for the job, but that guy is now the leading passer at Syracuse.
Yeah, he's not doing bad.
He's the leading passer in the country, leads in passing yards. Beat Miami, but you couldn't be successful at Ohio State. Not saying I'm a Kyle McCord guy, because I'm not.
Yeah.
But
when you had weapons at Ohio.
I mean, clearly, if that guy could do that with Syracuse receivers, how is he not doing that with Marvin Harrison, Igbuka, and just company? Like he had all the ability to be successful there, or you had all the ability to be successful with him, and you lost. But nonetheless, you get a bye week, so positive. You're getting a playoff spot, positive. Outside of that, though, I mean, it's overall just embarrassing. I mean, if Ryan Day doesn't win the national championship, I would assume Ryan Day's gone. I don't see a reason why he'd be brought back at all. Like, I don't see a reason why he'd be brought back at all.
No. I think Ohio State fans have kind of made their mind up there, right?
I mean,
this is the team you had to beat.
This is the game that matters. This game matters more than any other game in the country. Doesn't matter if we're playing for national championship or not. If we don't win this game, it's 365 days of we lost to Michigan. You lose a national championship, that one rolls off a little easier. You lose to Michigan, that one sticks with you until the next one.
I don't know. Yeah, so we'll see what happens after this week in conference championship week to see if things get shaken up enough to where Ohio State stays in. Do you think they stay in the playoffs?
Absolutely.
Playoffs?
Yeah.
I think they're in. I think they're in as well. The playoffs committee had them in still.
Well, I mean, they are in. We'll break down the rankings after we're done with rivalry week, but yeah, I mean, they're in no matter what.
Yeah.
They spoke on it yesterday, but yeah. Well, moving on though to the next one.
Oh, let's go back because Friday night we had one of the best college football games of all season. Georgia Tech, clean old fashioned hate. Georgia Tech just kind of blows it there at the end, to be honest. There was a controversial call, so I wanted to talk to you about this. This call, not called targeting, called a clean hit. We've seen targeting calls for less. Can we agree on that?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So let's roll the beautiful bean footage.
Ball comes out.
So, well-delivered hit to me. That hat's right on the ball. But he does, right there, you can see it so clear. He lowers his head with the crown of the helmet, I would say, to the head or neck area of the quarterback. The quarterback's kind of bent down a little bit here, though. And you see his helmet immediately. You see Haynes King's helmet immediately kind of, get jolted.
What time of the game did this happen, though?
Oh, this was with 2 minutes left. This is what gave Georgia the ball to be able to score that tying score.
That is pretty controversial.
Yeah. So no call here. I mean, if it's me 10 years ago, that's a clean hit. Today, seeing how everything's shaking out. I don't think it's a clean hit. I think it's targeting in Georgia Tech ball 1st and 10, and then the game's over.
Bringing up receipts against NC State like that. It's big time factor right there. The NC State no call.
So you're saying Georgia Tech had this one coming to them? Okay, Magoo, whatever you want to say, but just this game alone, like you got to tell. Like, he's a Georgia fan. You're a Georgia fan, so obviously you're gonna be like, "Oh, it's a clean hit." It's a great hit. Like if I'm a fan of this football team, and this doesn't get called, this is one of the greatest hits of all time. If Georgia goes on to win the national championship, this is going to be the play of the season. This is what saved the season for Georgia. So, I mean, it all evens out. Yeah, it all evens out. Yeah, whatever. But
Does it?
Yeah, does it really? But I'm not sure, Magoo. You were definitely watching the whole of this game. I had something going on Friday night. I ended up watching, I think, the last few minutes. I saw this, but we didn't have the sound on. Was the referee crew ACC or SEC?
They're usually neutral. No, or usually it's home team.
I mean, this is huge. We got a Georgia fan in here. Magoo is a Georgia fan saying not a clean hit, but he'll take it. I appreciate the honesty. But Georgia, they squeaked through, and they're playing in the SEC championship. We'll go over that this week. But I'm just saying, it was so close. If you're any team, you don't want to play Georgia Tech in a bowl game. Georgia Tech's going to be good in the bowl. They're going to be good next year. I like where that program's going. That program.
Yeah, I mean, Georgia Tech, I was a fan of them to start the year. Haynes King went out for a little bit. But, the thing about them is just they're going to play – they're gritty. They're going to play great ball. They're going to have some fun, especially if Haynes King's on the field, man. It's a part of how they play ball. They love to move the ball. They love to keep it on the ground. They love to just run. And they're going to run through you. They're going to run at you. They're not afraid to punch you in the mouth. It's a big part of their game plan, especially when it comes to just like you saw what happened against Florida State at the beginning of the year. And you got to say, Brent Key, he's got that program going in the right direction.
Yeah.
I don't recall, but I do know going into the FSU game, he was undefeated against ranked ACC teams. I don't know how that record's transferred throughout the year, but I do know
they beat Miami.
Yeah,
definitely beat Miami.
They beat Miami. Georgia Brent Key definitely plays his best games versus the big teams. You saw it here. You saw it versus Miami. You saw it versus Florida State when they were a big team. Mm-hmm. But yeah, Brent Key plays good ball. So Georgia Tech, they're definitely going in the right direction for sure. What will happen after they lose Haynes King? I don't know, but we'll figure that out later.
Yeah. All right. You had one in mind after the Ohio State game. I mean, I'm looking at Friday. Other than Colorado blowing Oklahoma State out and Travis Hunter having a crazy game for his Heisman odds, and Mississippi game being close, not really too much to go over there. So,
I mean, we saw the Mississippi Egg Bowl was played on a Friday for the first time in a while.
Yeah.
Overall, it was
close. It was close for a while.
Yeah, I mean, it was a rivalry game. I kind of expected it. They get pretty turned up for each other.
Right.
So for Mississippi State, they played their best ball that week. But outside of that, nothing really happening until Saturday when it came to actual playoff rankings, playoff games, and just what's going to happen going into Tuesday. Well, this is a lot. We had big games within Ohio State, Michigan, of course, but then Michigan, Syracuse. This game might be playing the biggest factor
Miami. Yeah.
into rankings.
Dude.
Because Miami went from for sure to on bubble and probably more than likely out.
Yeah. So this is the question for me. I've seen this in a couple other college football outlets. If you had to pick one, would you rather put in Miami or Alabama?
Miami.
I think I would pick Miami too.
Because right now,
yeah,
their two losses were to a now ranked Syracuse and then to Georgia Tech, who has beaten every ranked team they played, and also they only have one or two losses of Haynes King. It's way better than losing twice to 2 6-6 teams, and then also to Tennessee. The Tennessee game's your best loss. But when you get blown out for the first time since 2011, Bama didn't put up a touchdown. Of course, that was the LSU-Bama 9-6 game. That was historic defenses on the field. But that's the first time that they hadn't scored a touchdown since then. And it happened at the hands of Oklahoma, the struggling Oklahoma, the welcome to SEC, you can't win a freaking game, Oklahoma. They got blown, dog-walked by them 24-3. That's not right. Vandy, they're a different Vandy this year, so we're going to let that one roll off. But the Oklahoma game, that one cannot go unnoticed. If Ohio State, whenever they lost to Iowa 7 years back with Dwayne Haskins, whenever they lost that game, that's what put them out. No, sorry, Purdue. But they lost to Iowa the year before. But still, when they lose those big games to those unranked 6-6, 5-7 teams, they get put out playoffs.
Yeah. So here is
especially when they are a one-loss team against another one-loss team, but a 2-loss team versus Alabama's 3-loss, that's just messed. And, for me, the 4 guys are Miami, Bama, Ole Miss, South Carolina. In my head, it should be Ole Miss. My heart wants it to be South Carolina. Realistically, though, it should be Miami. And Miami can still get in. It just depends on what happens with the Clemson SMU game.
Yeah.
But right now, the way that the playoff committee talked about it was who's in there is who's in there. The only teams that are outside.
Well, let's say let me cut you off because this guy's we're gonna stick to the Alabama-Miami question because we're gonna talk about the playoffs. We are gonna talk about the playoffs, and we gotta get through.
Joining us now is the chair of the College Football Playoff Selection Committee, Ward Manuel. So Ward, let's start with the last team in the cluster of SEC teams in Miami. What gave Alabama the edge over the rest of that group?
Well, Reese, it's good to be with you again. What it came down to is as we evaluated both teams and looked at how they rank, obviously we think highly of both teams. One's at 11, one's at 12. But what it really came down to is Alabama is 3-1 against current top 25 teams, and Miami is 0-1. Alabama is 6-1 against teams above 500. And Miami's 4-2. Both have had some losses that weren't what they wanted out of those games. But in the last 3 games, Miami has lost twice. And so for us, in evaluating their body of work, we felt that Alabama got the edge over Miami.
Well, the body of work is complete for Alabama, for Miami, for Ole Miss, for South Carolina. There's one more rankings to do. What could change? Could it change? Is it set?
Yes, it could change. It all depends on the outcome of these games. The commissioners have asked us to rank the top 25 through the conference championships, and that's what we intend to do.
Okay.
We have high regard, as I've said before, for those who are playing in those conference championships, and we will closely evaluate those games and the outcome of those games to rank the top 25 on Sunday.
Okay.
So basically he's saying the opposite of what we're saying. He's saying the opposite of what we're saying. He's saying Alabama has a better record against ranked teams. Miami, not so much.
Yeah, but for Miami, they played tough in their games. They weren't getting blown out. You bring up the last 3 games of the season. Well, Bama got blown out.
They did
in the last 3 games of the season.
Yeah, and you take Miami's loss to Georgia Tech. Georgia Tech took Georgia to 7. Was it 9 overtime? However how many overtimes it was. That's not a bad loss.
That right now is the biggest what if from rivalry week because if that happens, then Georgia and Bama are both in the same spot. And then you're like, well, one of them's got to go. It'd probably be Georgia because they have the head-to-head loss versus Bama. But Georgia beat Texas. Georgia beat majority of teams. So, it's just I think they dropped the ball again this year. Unfortunately, I feel like it's going to be the case every year.
Yeah.
It's just not.
This is what the conferences give us because you have different measuring sticks, right? Like if Clemson wins, they automatically get in because they're conference champions. but South Carolina just beat them.
But you know what sucks is if SMU loses, SMU is probably out.
Yeah, I don't see how they would get in. I don't see how
they'd be a 2-loss team. Yeah. Both of their losses coming against ranked teams because they lost 3 points to BYU.
Mm-hmm.
It's all a mess. South Carolina, I think they're 2 plays away from being a 1-loss team and guaranteed spot in the playoffs. Mm-hmm. But for SMU, well, here I will say this: the ACC can bitch and complain all at once, but a lot of this falls on them. Mm-hmm. You had a chance where you had 3 teams that could have been undefeated in your conference because Miami, SMU, and Clemson all could have been undefeated because they didn't play each other. You can't have your strongest teams not face each other. You had Bama and Georgia play. You had Texas and Georgia play. You had everyone that's big in the SEC playing each other. Mm-hmm. Ohio State played everyone big in the Big Ten.
Yeah. Miami didn't play a single ranked team.
They didn't. Clemson didn't play any Miami or SMU. Yeah. SMU didn't play either of them. That's a problem.
That is a problem.
Because now you're hurting yourself because now you don't give your teams viable wins. And so then when they're losing these games that they shouldn't be losing because you put all your eggs in the basket of Miami, but for some reason when November rolls around down there in Coral, it's just horrible for them. They just forget how to play ball every single year. Whether it's a great season or a bad season, they don't play good in the month of November.
I think you got to go with a hot hand. And I think right now South Carolina's a hot hand. I would put South Carolina in right now over Miami or Alabama.
SMU and South Carolina, outside of Oregon, are the hottest teams at ball. Notre Dame, they've also won out, but they've only just been playing independent. South Carolina's been playing in the SEC.
Yeah.
So, but SMU, they've won every game. They have the longest active win streak other than Oregon. I know that for a fact. It's just I feel like we're going to be having these conversations every single year. We're going to be having the conversations of, well, this team did this team did this. Really, Ole Miss, I feel like they should have gotten in.
Yeah.
Whenever it was broken down, when it came to strength of schedules, whenever it came to your records, your head-to-heads, who beat who, I think Lane Kiffin, he had a very strong case here. Mario Cristobal tried to plead his case, but I think Ole Miss has a better case than them. I think Ole Miss is a better 3-loss team.
Yeah, I think Magoo's hitting the nail on the head here. South Carolina's biggest issue is the head-to-head loss versus Alabama, even though it's close, and Ole Miss. Ole Miss, I think that Florida game with Ole Miss, they were facing a Florida team that's kind of hitting their stride in the year, and Jackson Dart threw like 3 interceptions, like he just self-imploded. For Ole Miss that game. I don't know.
I'll say this. I'm going to share my screen again right now. Lane, he took to Twitter, as he usually does, and he had some words, and I was like, I'm with you here. I think it's actually a proper mindset to have here is after all the chaos yesterday, there looks to be 3 bubble teams fighting for the last remaining spot, and all 3 are 9-3 and represent the SEC.
Zoom in a little bit if you can.
You got South Carolina lost to both of them, and their best win is against Clemson. Ole Miss and Alabama's best win is against Georgia. Georgia beat Clemson 34-3. Safe to say the SC is out between Ole Miss and Alabama. So when you're doing the point and fingers thing, yes, this makes sense, but I'll get back to that later, so just remember that.
Yeah.
Ole Miss has 9 wins, outscoring their opponents 390-94. That's a little bit of a whack stat. They played Furman earlier this year, so I don't really go with that. Alabama has 9 wins, outscoring their opponents 371-119. They played better teams, in my opinion. And the 3 losses, Ole Miss was outscored 73-60, -13. And the 3 losses, Bama was outscored by 33. Now, that is a good stat. I do always keep points differential in my back pocket. I think it's, especially because when it comes to tiebreakers, that's how the Big Ten championship was decided, was how you scored against common opponents.
Yep. Which is why Penn State and James Franklin and whoever the Maryland head coach is almost got into a tussle after the game. We got a clip of that, too.
But both beat Georgia. Revs by 18, Bama won by 7. So, Ole Miss, they did have a better win against Georgia than Bama. Both beat South Carolina. Once again, beat them by 24. Bama beat them by 2. Really, if it wasn't for Lenoris is young, freshman, absolute stud. This guy's the future of the ball, along with DJ Lagaway. These 2 are going to be shooing it out in the SEC for the next few years. threw an interception as they were in Bama territory down 2. And that was after they had missed a 2-point conversion on the previous touchdown to try and tie. They got the ball back and were at the 40 of Bama just trying to get field down to try and put up a game-winning field goal. But that's neither here or there. Alabama, they beat LSU by 29. Ole Miss lost to LSU by 3 in overtime. I was at that game. Incredible. Ole Miss beat Oklahoma by 12. Alabama lost to Oklahoma by 21. Clearly, Ole Miss should be in the playoffs over Alabama, but Bama is the bigger brand and more likely to get it over Ole Miss. Yes, this is true. And I go back to the Clemson win and how South Carolina beat Clemson. Okay, cool. Well, this was brought up by Brett Bielema, bringing up the strength of schedules. Illinois, Ole Miss, they're right there neck and neck. 7 Power 4 wins by Illinois, 3 wins versus Power 4 bowl teams.
Click on that. You're going to have to zoom in.
All right. Yeah. We're just stat crunching right now. But these two at the bottom right here, they speak volume. And this is just what's wrong with the ACC. 53rd strength of schedule, 55 strength of schedule, 7 Power 4 wins, 7 Power 4 wins, 3 wins versus Power 4 bowl teams, 5 wins versus Power 4 bowl teams. Losses to 5-14 and 8-4. Louisville by 12. Miami lost to 22 and 7-5. Georgia Tech by 5. But you look at Ole Miss, they lost to Kentucky and they lost to Florida and they lost to LSU. So we go back to pointing the fingers at if South Carolina's best win is Clemson, but Clemson's losing to these guys. Well, Ole Miss lost to Kentucky and lost to Florida.
Yeah.
Kentucky got blown out by Louisville this past week, who was that 8-4 team, and Florida got blown out by Miami to start the year. Whole different team, I will say that, but we're just talking the facts right now.
Yeah, definitely.
This is how it crumbles down. Whole different team. I think Florida would win.
But Miami is pointing to that. They are pointing to that game and saying that is a win against our SEC opponent.
Yeah.
And whether, you can point at that.
I hate this last 3 bullshit, though. The last 3 games of the year, I'm just like, this can't be a thing. Like, that cannot be a thing. If it's something that they're accounting for, then Bama should be not in the conversation, in my opinion.
And South Carolina should
exactly be in.
Yeah.
Really, Illinois, look at them. They're 3-0 in their last 3, but they're nowhere near these talks, right? But look at BYU. They were hot as could be, but they lost to Arizona State. Look at Colorado, same situation. I know Big 12 and the Big 10, they don't compare. When you're 9-3 in those conferences, it's not the same as 9-3 in the SEC. But still, it's a lot of pointing the fingers, a lot of crunching the numbers. But this is what you're saying. If you don't put up a strong strength of schedule and you can't win the games on that not very strong strength of schedule, you're not going to be looking great when it comes to the end of it if you're a 2-loss team with a sub-50 strength of schedule.
Yeah. It's college football. There's going to be chaos. But, Miami, just to wrap this one up, they were in control of their own destiny. They beat Syracuse. They go to the ACC championship. Even if they lose to Clemson, I think the ACC gets both of those teams in.
Yeah.
That didn't happen.
And so, but now you can look at other things when it comes to this, and that is, all right, so Ohio State will be getting in. They're a 2-loss team. They lost to unranked Michigan and ranked Oregon, or top-ranked Oregon, I should say. And they're going to be getting in, no doubt about it. Tennessee, I feel like no one's talking about Tennessee here, but they have great wins. They beat Bama, they beat Florida, but they lost to Arkansas, but no one wants to talk about that. But the thing is, they're a 2-loss team, so it doesn't matter. I think one team who
they beat a good Vandy team this week. Vandy tried to come back on them, but Tennessee put the gas on them there in the third quarter.
You know what's crazy? That Tulane game last week actually played huge implications into this. We didn't talk about that, but Thursday night, Tulane lost to Memphis, and they're still going to the conference championship in the AAC. Right. They'll be playing Army. So right now, Army only has 1 loss, but they have a bottom 10 strength of schedule.
Yeah.
And they lost to Notre Dame, the only viable win. If Tulane had won that game, well, right now, Tulane would be ranked above the Big 12. That game would technically get the play-in, whoever would win, because it would give Army a better win, and that would just be the case. Something that also did annoy me, and this is just a little tidbit, side piece, we talked about all year Army-Navy game actually playing playoff implications. They ranked Army below UNLV, and it pissed me off because if Army was ranked above UNLV, and it's by like 4 spots, they're a 1-loss team. UNLV is a 2-loss team. Anyways, if they had ranked Army above UNLV, let's say UNLV beats Boise, and let's say Army wins against Tulane, the Army-Navy game is a play-in for the playoffs.
Still, very close to playoff implications for a military academy.
Yeah, it was fun, but we didn't get what we wanted because they would have been the most watched Army-Navy game of all time because it meant something. It always means something. Mm-hmm. But I'm talking playoffs right now. It would have meant something that had an implication in that world. Yeah. But yeah, it's all twisted. Right now, Penn State, they are. Yeah, I don't get how they're just flying under the radar here. Indiana, they're flying under the radar. It's all like they're going to be in. There's going to be 4 Big Ten teams in there.
Yeah,
and there's going to be 1 Big 12.
And that's why they built this super conference to try to rival the SEC.
And what's crazy is UNLV can actually they'll go if they win.
If they win, yeah, they'll go.
And
I think they should because
that's why they put UNLV above Army. So so the AAC championship game.
Look at Boise State, man. Their one loss is to a number 1 Oregon team by 3 points. I hope Boise State gets in because I think they're going to be more trouble than you want. If you're an Alabama or you're a team that's barely if you're Miami and you're playing Boise State, that I don't think that's how it would shake out. But you got to be shaking in your panties. But you mentioned Penn State, and I did want to bring this up because I think I'm on.
Oh my God, this was so good.
I'm on James Franklin's side.
This was when I watched this the next day. I mean, I was cackling. What he said was beautiful. It was beautifully said.
Yeah, we don't have time to play the altercation because I'd have to go back and find that. But basically, it was like a firm handshake at midfield after the game because Penn State had put in their backups and scored a touchdown as time expired. And this is what James Franklin had to say about the other. What's the Maryland head coach's name? I don't fucking know. That's gonna be. We're gonna hit the who cares button on that.
Who cares? Yeah, I get it, right? At the end of the game, we throw a touchdown. I get it, but a couple things I will say. My job is to put the 3s and 4s in the game. But when the 3s and 4s get to go in the game, they get to play football. Those guys deserve.
This is where it gets good. No, this is where it gets good. Hold on.
Your runs are in the game. You were trying to score. We're trying to score. On top of that, you're playing cover 0. If you don't want, play cover 2.
No, it's so funny.
I'm good with it.
Because
and on top of that, there's also a change in college football.
And he's so right. He is so right.
Oh yeah. Everything he said is absolutely correct.
Get better guys, man. Do better. Like you're trying to score. You're trying to score. We're trying to get into the playoffs. We're trying to get a high seed in the playoffs. All makes sense.
Here's the thing with what he said. It's true because it was getting to the point. It was getting to the point that the points that you put up matter because of the situation that they're in at the end of the year. Mm-hmm. But I will say this. It was funny because he was he was explaining his case of why he was scoring on them with 3 seconds left to then dogging on him for playing a stupid coverage and basically just saying, fucking be better.
Yeah. Penn State, Tennessee, and Indiana are the luckiest teams in the country. Ooh, I don't know. I mean, maybe Indiana, Tennessee beat Alabama head-to-head. Their 1 losses against Arkansas, right?
But you know what's crazy? Kansas has the biggest.
Kansas is hot. Let's throw Kansas in the playoffs.
No. But they literally affected the whole Big 12 because it was 2 weeks ago. It was supposed to be BYU. And
Colorado.
And then
both down.
They rolled through them.
Say, fuck you.
They rolled through Iowa State, too. I mean, they rolled through everybody. And it's just like they were just playing like spoiler. But anyways, right now, so I'm going to bring up this. I'm going to share my screen again. This is probably the last piece that we get before we get into the next week.
Yeah.
There's a problem with this. I'm sharing, share my screen when it comes to playoffs right here. There's a problem with this. All right, so you look at this. You have Indiana going to Georgia. All right. Bama going to South Bend. That'd be good. That's fun. Tennessee, Ohio State going to Columbus. This top part, this is a problem. This is not okay. You have Arizona State playing Penn State. Arizona State will be a double-digit underdog, which Penn State should win. To then they walk into Boise State. They walk into Boise State where they will probably once again be a double-digit underdog. So, Penn State is having this easy course that they're just basically going to walk into the semifinals knowing that James Franklin can play ball. But he probably has the easiest ranked games he's ever seen in his time as a football coach. Yeah, he's got Arizona State and he's got Boise State. If this is the case, need be, they lose, Oregon stays in the 1. Or, basically, if you're playing the Big Ten Championship next week, I'm losing. Personally, I'm losing. Because look at what you would have in the 1 spot. You would have to face Tennessee or Ohio State. That's not much of a first-round bye. But,
I mean, if Indiana loses to Oregon, though, like if Oregon lost, I think they're in. I think if Indiana loses, they're out.
Yeah, that'd be true. But if I'm Penn State or Oregon, I'm just not trying to win this game because then you get to go play against Arizona State and then you get to walk through Boise State.
Yeah.
And then you're in the semifinals. If you win, you're in that 1 spot. Tennessee, Ohio State, that's who you have next. Where's the fun in that?
Yeah.
Why would you want that?
Is it always going to be like this? Is it always going to be the Mountain West champion, Boise State, gets the 4 seed, and then whoever is last, whoever's in that 12th spot, you kind of get the easiest path, like you're saying, to the national championship.
The easiest path because, it's the whole first-round bye situation. You're supposed to put your middle seeds against each other and put your – hypothetically, when you have 8 teams, you put the lowest ranked seed versus the top ranked seed. But because you have that first round bye, it's 5 versus 12, and But since that 4 seed's so
maybe you're saying you want to be the 5 spot, not the 12 spot. Because 12 spot, you probably because Penn State
5 spot, you get a home game.
Yeah.
Why would you want that?
Home game against the lowest ranked seed, then Mountain West champion.
And Tennessee's just like, are we sure Ohio State is really still ranked above us? Because now they're getting screwed out of a home game. Bama, they don't deserve a home game whatsoever. But then, you still look at Miami down there, and you look at Arizona State, and those teams is like Miami's. They're out though. It's what's. Yeah.
I don't see. I mean, I couldn't tell you if Miami beats Arizona State for sure. Scadabo's doing crazy things at Arizona. I mean, we can't go into it right now.
But also, if UNLV wins,
they're in.
They get the 12 spot, and then once again, you have the 5 spot, and then you're big chilling. Essentially, it's just and the 4 seed would then be the Big 12 champion. So once again, you want to be the 5 seed going into the playoffs right now because you're going to be playing the combination of Iowa State or Arizona State and then Boise State, or vice versa, UNLV, then Iowa State, Arizona State.
I think Penn State.
Why would you not want that?
I think Penn State might have that spot locked.
It might be locked. Which is upsetting because it should be Notre Dame, but what they said teams that are not playing, their destiny is solidified. So Notre Dame is not moving from that 6th spot. But Penn State, they are playing, so their destiny is not solidified because they could be put in the 1 or the 5. But because Notre Dame
Penn State's not playing.
Yeah, correct. So they're sitting in that 6th spot.
They are playing. Okay. They are. Okay. All right. I thought it was Indiana.
No. So that's why the game with Maryland played such huge implications because they needed those points. It's not Indiana. Indiana has a bye week. Penn State has to play.
Wow.
But Notre Dame is also not playing because they don't play in a conference. Yeah, I don't know. Right now, this whole structure probably needs to get a facelift somewhere.
Somehow.
It's definitely having a rough patch in a few areas because right now being the 5 seed is like guaranteed semifinals. And that's just not what you want because all these teams below it, you got top 10 matchups and top 5 matchups everywhere you look. And even for Bama or Notre Dame, you get to walk against. They'll slaughter out, and then they get to go against SMU.
Yeah,
in which they'll probably win. Yeah. So really, half of your first round buys are probably losing their games at home.
And we'll see what happens. I mean, dude, because I was gonna say the same thing about Indiana. You gotta, if you're in there, if Indiana or Penn State, now you're in there, and two other teams that have beat you are still in the playoffs. Oregon and Ohio State, would have both beat both those teams. So, are we really gonna stick a team in the playoffs that has lost to two teams in the playoffs?
Well, you have a chance. Well, what's also crazy is that look at that bottom spot right there, Texas and Georgia. So if Georgia loses, they're still in. They've made it clear everybody's in. But they could be facing against Indiana, and then they go play Texas. That'd be Texas Georgia Part 3 this year.
Maybe you need 3. Maybe Texas wins.
Well, that's the thing. If Georgia wins, they basically flip-flop because they'll be now a 10-2, and they'll be an SEC 10-2, so they go play Indiana. But let's say they go and beat Indiana, then they're playing Georgia again.
Georgia got up for Texas the first time,
Statistically and historically, the teams that play again don't usually win. That's why when Washington beat Oregon twice last year, that was really
both games were great games to watch.
Oh my God,
I'd watch them
probably
over again.
Games like two of the best games of the year.
Now the Georgia-Texas game first time, it wasn't really that great to watch up until maybe near the end whenever Texas started to come back.
And Notre Dame, they're the 4 seed. Technically, they're ranked 4th, but because they don't play in a conference championship, they can't be in the top 4.
All right, so we don't really have a whole lot of time to gloat, but I wanted to let you gloat because Marshall went to James Madison and won in double overtime, 35-33. So
we were down.
We gotta get the Marshall take.
Yeah, we won. So James Madison, it's always tough to play him. I like playing him, play good ball against him. But we were down 14-0 out the gate. Then we got up and going, got a pick 6 to tie it up, turned into a whole new ball game. Ended up tying it up. Had a field goal blocked as regulation ended, so we went into overtime. Both get touchdowns, and then we go into double overtime. James Madison scores. They put on a great play and stop them for the 2-point play, and then Marshall runs 2 back-to-back plays that were design reverses, and they both executed perfectly. They did a reverse run. And then they did they put Braxton out wide, reversed it back to him, and so then they were both in the flats, and he just tossed it in the end zone, fought for it, got in. So yeah,
two double reverses.
Yeah, 2 double reverses.
They were in the double on you.
And what's annoying is there is probably about an 80% chance that Charles Huff will not be at Marshall next year. He will be at in-conference team Southern Miss because of how badly the people of Huntington act and how spoiled they act. Ever since the Georgia Southern game, he was supposed to get re-signed, and then that Georgia Southern game happened, 23-3 loss. When you were up 23. Sorry, hold on. You were up 23-3 with 7 minutes left, and you blew it. Lost 24-23. So they didn't re-sign him, but he didn't lose the rest of the year after that. Have 1 loss of conference play. If he doesn't lose that, Marshall is right now 10-2. With losses to Virginia Tech and Ohio State, and possibly in playoff talks, depending on how all the other cards
playing in the conference championship.
Yeah, we're playing the conference championship versus Louisiana Lafayette. But it's funny, Huff, even if he wins, I don't know if he'll be back next year because of just how Marshall is, unfortunately. But it's been a great year. What sucks about that previous statement, though, is that our quarterback, our leading edge, our leading cornerback all go with him. Like, we have the guys that lead in pass breakups in the country and then also in sacks and tackles for loss in the country. But we're probably going to lose them if Huff's gone. Anyways, they play this Saturday for a conference championship. It would be
that hurdle, though. They could hit that hurdle.
We could. But I will say this.
I'd be hitting the hurdle, dude.
If you
got
win
the most stats, go to a bigger school.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But if we win this weekend, it'll be our first time winning the Sun Belt, and it's funny because I don't
first time ever winning the Sun Belt.
Well, we've only been in the Sun Belt 3 years.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, 3 years. So we won, but the thing is we haven't won a conference championship since 2014.
Were you guys in the
Conference USA?
You were in. Okay, that's what I thought. And then before that,
MAC.
you were in the was Marshall in the Big East?
No, we were MAC.
MAC all the time.
MAC.
Okay.
But yeah, no, it's sad because we have a great coach right now, and he's putting up great numbers. He's beat Notre Dame, he's beat Virginia Tech, and right now it's pretty upsetting. But yeah, I don't know. I hate what's happening up in Huntington. I just hope they win this weekend because I would like to end off this year on a high note because, anyways, yeah.
I noticed y'all don't play West Virginia, and that upsets me.
Well, we
West Virginia Marshall should be the rivalry game.
Yeah, it used to be.
We
used to play all the time. But one, we never beat them, and then we got really good, and they wouldn't sign the contract again. Like, I'm being so serious. We haven't played them over 12 years. Like, the last time we played them was...
So even before they were in the Big 12?
Yeah, when they were in the Big East. And no, they were in the Big 12 still. Because the last time we played them, Tavon Austin was playing for them.
Okay.
So, and they beat us. It was Geno Smith and Tavon Austin. What can you do about it? That was the last time that they were really good. Yeah. And then... 2 years later, we had Rakeem Cato, Tommy Schuler. We were literally on the verge of an undefeated season. I think if we had kept this rivalry going, Marshall would probably have beat them 4 times at least. We would definitely beat them this year, and I wanted them for a bowl game. I want them for a bowl game so bad because we would beat the brakes off them.
Right now?
Oh my God, yeah.
I think it'd be about an even year this year.
If we beat the brakes off
Maybe
them.
you get the bowl game. That'd be cool. If you got I don't know their record. Was
They're 6-6.
6-6. Maybe you get a bowl game.
6-6, 7-5. But still,
that'd be dope.
I doubt we do though.
I love rivalry bowl games.
Magoo
says y'all kept his Georgia Southern Eagles out of the championship. By the way.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah, because we had to win out though because we lost to them. We had to win out. So if Marshall had lost that game, Georgia Southern would be in. But luckily we won out. But we shouldn't have a loss in Sun Belt play all year. But we lost to Georgia Southern after being up 20 points with 7 minutes left.
So good year for Ohio State, relatively.
Yeah. I don't know. We don't usually have 2 losses, man.
Yeah, that and you lost to Michigan again, so that sucks.
Yeah.
But good year for the Herd.
Great year for Marshall. Best year that we've had under Huff, in my opinion. We haven't had a 10-win season since Doc Holliday, and we were pretty used to 10-win seasons. We had about 3 straight there for a bit, and then we fired Doc, and then Huff just hasn't had that. But anyways, yeah.
And then as Gators, 7-5.
Next year is going to be glorious.
With the hardest schedule, the Gators went. If you would remember week 1 or 2, I was like, I think we go 7-5, and you were like, where do you see these wins?
I would definitely.
Where do you see these wins?
But who was the quarterback?
It was both.
It was Graham.
It was both.
But no, I will say this:
Graham and DJ were.
But you didn't want
snaps.
you didn't want DJ to play
because I didn't want him to get hurt for next year.
Who cares?
No. I wanted him to play. I wanted him to get experience under Graham, but Graham ended up not
that narrative.
being that good.
I hate that narrative. It's such a crap narrative that we're saying.
I was right. I said 7-5.
No, you were right, but I hate the narrative of no, bench the young guy. Let's try and send off this shitty senior who's played for 3 different schools off into the sunset.
No, you're twisting it. That's
no,
not what I'm saying.
I'm not twisting. I'm speaking facts right now.
No, you're not.
Because
that's not what I'm saying.
If DJ plays the whole year, Florida's a 2-loss team.
No, I don't think so because it wasn't just him. It was people getting injured on the defensive side of the ball. Seniors, not shitty seniors.
So a 3-loss team.
Maybe.
We would have beat Mizzou, and we would have beat A&M.
Yeah. Florida, I mean, the A&M game, they just showed up and walked over. Reed came in.
Tennessee, we definitely would have beat Tennessee.
Yeah, we should have beat Tennessee. We would have beat Tennessee with Graham Mertz still in the game if he didn't.
We would have beat Tennessee. We would have beat A&M.
But that's what I'm saying. Graham had the hot hand.
If DJ doesn't go out, we're probably winning the Georgia game because we were up.
Yeah, we beat Georgia and Tennessee. That's the team.
Blackway hadn't lost it, but I will say he wouldn't have won the Miami game. It was been his first year.
Yeah.
Against one of the hottest rosters out there walking into the year.
Yeah.
But I think Florida could be playoff implications next year. It just depends on what happens with the portal and everything. But Jaden Ball right now is one of my favorite players.
We even get to talk about National Signing Day. Today's National Signing Day. Florida has crept its way into the top. I think they're 11 right now.
Yeah.
So they're creeping up.
Oregon,
potentially top 10.
Oregon is literally sending bags
of
blank
Oregon
checks.
Landed like
they're sending
3 5-stars today.
They're sending blank checks because Phil Knight literally said unlimited NIL. You have unlimited NIL. And this is the problem that we always said. It's here. Wait till it happens. It's here now. But yeah, no, it's. I hate that.
Plenty of places got money.
LSU got fucked. I mean, LSU has had every recruit flip and get stolen from them left and right. Whether it's Bama, FSU, Texas, Oregon, they are getting stolen from every which way.
Yep.
And then put on top of that, a lot of their starters that were supposed to be going into next year hit the portal. CJ Daniels, who was supposed to be one of their next great wide receivers, he hit the portal.
Yep. All right. So we got to get into it. We got about 15 minutes left. So, Friday night, the big game. I guess there's two big games. I think Tulane gets Army. Let's just Tulane Army first before we get into the other one. Tulane versus Army.
Is that Tulane, right? No, it's at Army.
It's at Army. At Army.
I don't know, man.
And I think
West
their
Point
stadium's under construction too, so it's like half of it's like not.
Oh, is it really?
Yeah, it's like open.
Still, West Point gets up, man. But you
and it's gonna be cold.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It might be snowing. It might be snowing.
I think it'll be snowing, and the Tulane boys live in Nolans.
That's what I'm saying. They live in New Orleans. They're not going to be used to that.
The triple option in the cold is not fun.
Let me look at what the weather's supposed to be.
Yeah, that's probably a major.
I mean,
factor.
that's a huge factor because one, Army's just going to play their typical ball and just run it down your throat. Tulane's going to be 27 and partly cloudy, and that is
27 and partly cloudy.
Yeah, and it's a night game, so
no snow but fucking cold.
Well, let's see what the chance of participate. Like, I mean, rains, give me Army, or not rains, but if it snows, give me Army.
Okay,
like by a mile.
Tulane's -5.
I think that's a big factor because Army, they're going to play their ball, which is run. And if it's snowing, that just plays into their favor even more because it takes more of Tulane's game out of their hands. I mean, literally right now it is snowing in New York as I'm looking at what they have going on this week. Friday is a 1% chance of snow, so not going to be happening.
Okay.
But yeah, who knows?
I got Tulane covering. I think they'll brave the cold and take care of Army.
If it's not snowing, I'm going to walk with you there. So.
All right. Now, playoff implications. UNLV at the Blue Field is going to be red versus blue. Boise State with Ashton Jeanty trying to kind of seal up his Heisman hopes.
So, I mean, one of the takes I was right on about this year. So I've loved UNLV all year. Ever since Suka, that all drama happened, they put another quarterback that kept winning. Their front seven's great, and I've said that. And so when they played Boise State early this year, I didn't say that Boise State was going to lose. But I said it would be statistically Jeanty's worst game and that we would see him get slowed down. And still to this day, it's the worst he's played. He had the most carries of the year so far at that time and put up the least amount of yards. That front seven is devious, and like we talked about earlier, it's hard for a team to beat another team back-to-back games. Yeah. So I don't know. This is interesting. I'm definitely.
I mean, Boise State had to score in the fourth quarter to win the game. It was
UNLV held him to his least amount of yards this year.
Yeah, it was 24-20 going into the fourth quarter.
Oh yeah, I mean I don't know.
This is it.
Well, also, what's the weather going to be? This is what we have to take this into account, the weather, because there's a good chance that it could be. It's only 39. How is it 39 in Idaho, but only 27 in New York?
It's the West.
Where does that make sense?
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know.
It's literally Canada.
I'm still because we got some other games to get to. I'm still gonna go with the Broncos at -4.
Give me UNLV. Give me UNLV because I want to see some drama happen.
You want to see some drama? I like that. I like that.
I want to see some drama. But I would love to have Jeanty in the playoffs.
Game? You want to make this a shot game?
Sure, I'll do it.
All right, cool.
But I would love to see Jeanty in the playoffs, though. Mm-hmm. It feels right having a Heisman candidate in the playoffs. So, I mean, and that would also, it would make things a lot more fun, especially like, all right. Maybe I should go Boise because it would honestly make it more fun if they're in the playoffs instead of UNLV. UNLV is going to get walked. Boise State can actually play. So, I'll walk Boise with you.
All right, that's fine. We'll allow it. I think we'll allow it, chat. All right, moving on to Saturday, college football championship, not championship, but conference championship week. We're starting off with the Big 12 championship, Iowa State, who suffered losses against Kansas. They've had a couple close games that they've won. They've had a couple close ones that they've lost. Arizona State's hot right now. They beat BYU. Scatabo running the ball real good. Scatabo versus Row the Boat. Who you got, Justin?
I love
ASU's -2 favorites.
Yeah, I love ASU here. I just love their coach. I love everything about it. I love the energy they bring. They're seeing a whole new life over there. I'm going to walk with Arizona State here.
Magoo's taking Iowa State. I'm going to take Arizona State. Give me the Sun Devils, and they get to plant that flag at AT&T, or not flag, but pitchfork in AT&T Stadium at the 50. Yeah, they are a one-man offense, but you can't stop them. You know it's coming. You know it. I know it. Everyone knows it's coming. Scatabo is going to run. Nick Saban called him his favorite player in college football a couple weeks ago on game day. I love him, too. I went on NCAA 25. I went to Arizona State as a quarterback. On my, Road to Glory or whatever, I just handed it off to Scatabo.
Yeah.
Just handed it off to Scatabo. He did the work.
Yeah.
All right. Ohio at Miami of Ohio.
Miami of Ohio.
You're going to take Miami of Ohio? They're -1.5 favorites. I'll take Ohio just to go contrary and against you and go with the underdog there.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be a good game. It's a good action game, that's for sure. But
in-state game, in-state rivalry.
The reason Miami, Ohio, they're a one-loss conference team. They lost to Notre Dame, Cincinnati, and Northwestern. That's why they have 4 losses. They're actually a very good team in the conference, though. So I'm going to stick with them.
Probably the smart choice. All right, SEC. We get a rematch, potentially round 2 of 3. Georgia at Mercedes-Benz Stadium in Atlanta, Georgia, versus the Texas Longhorns. Texas coming into the game is favorite after Georgia beat them by I think it was 14 points, 15 points.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The way Carson Beck's been playing, this one's really I don't know.
Yeah.
I really don't know. I don't think you could beat a team twice, especially Texas with how they've been playing, especially what they've been doing with Arch. If you go back and watch the A&M game, they would just put Arch in there to run.
He can, and he is nasty, and he's got swag too. He was mean and
reminds me a lot of Trevor Lawrence when he used to run in college. He just a big lanky kid, but he could just shift around.
Trevor Lawrence not running too much this week anymore.
Not after what happened last time he ran. Last time he ran, he got laid.
Smoked. There you go, sunshine. All right, I feel like you're going with Texas here.
Yeah,
I'm feeling it. You're going to Texas.
Yeah.
I'm going to go Georgia. I think they get up for this game. They found a way to win against Georgia Tech, whether it be by no-call targeting or whatever. Give me Georgia as an underdog to win as of tonight, Wednesday night. Maybe the line moves a little bit to 1.5. Maybe the line moves to 1.5.
Okay, so you know what's actually weird? Now that I think about this,
2 point. I don't know. Because
when they played last, do you remember how Carson Beck played? He threw 3 interceptions in a win, a 2-score win.
So it didn't
at Texas.
So it was just the defense.
Well, the defense played great.
Yeah.
Quinn Ewers threw for 211, 2 touchdowns, interception. Arch threw for 19 yards. Nothing really happened there. Running game was literally held to 29.
Did you get to watch the first 3 quarters of the Georgia Tech game?
Or no, I didn't get to watch it.
You didn't watch it? Okay. So what I'm thinking is if Haynes King was able to do some design quarterback runs on Georgia, because Georgia Tech likes to do that. Magoo, help us out here in the chat. You were watching this game. If they're doing that, maybe that's why they're trying all this running quarterback packages, all these running quarterback packages and plays with Arch, because they know that's how to beat Georgia. That's what you have to do. If Arch Manning can run the ball like I'm talking about, I'd like to see Texas. I want to see Texas win no matter what. But that's what they have to do if they want to win. But give me Georgia. I'm going to say they win for now. I would not be surprised if Texas switches up the game strategy and plays Arch a little bit more because he's that dual threat guy.
I mean, yeah, really, in Kirby, he doesn't do well when he has to play a team twice. So...
Yeah, Magoo, terrible against running quarterbacks. DJ Lagway was running quarterback. He got away with one little scramble against you guys. Then he tore that hamstring, or at least strained it. He was good next couple weeks after that, so whatever.
I mean, Jackson Dart beat him.
Yep. Marshall, Louisiana. I think we'll move on to Marshall, Louisiana. You got Marshall, you got Louisiana.
Marshall's going to cover. I mean, Marshall, they are +6 underdog. They are 11-1 against the spread this year. So, I mean, if you're a betting man, I mean, take the herd. But going to Lafayette, this game is convincing. Like, I almost want to go to this game, so I graduate Saturday.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Congratulations. This Saturday?
This Saturday.
Oh, you're one of those one of the fall graduates. Nice.
Yeah, I mean, I couldn't do another semester.
No, I know. That's good.
But it's a 4.5-hour drive. If graduation gets out at noon, I could be there at 6:30. It's probably not going to happen, though, because I have to go, like, celebrate and shit. But hypothetically, I could go
or
to
we
that
could
game.
just go to the Marshall. Oh, what am I? I'm in Rhode Island this weekend. I can't do that.
For fucking what?
No, we don't talk about it. It's fine. I'll tell you after the show. But that would be fun. That would have been fun to go to Cajun Field in Lafayette.
So the two big games of the week that are going to have factors in what really happens in the playoffs are UNLV Boise State and then this next one in Clemson SMU.
Yeah. Yeah, I'll go Marshall with you. I hope you guys win. I hope you get a conference championship. That'd be nice. First ever Sun Belt championship.
Yes.
All right. Let's do the Clemson SMU game first, and then wrap it up with the game of the week. Yeah.
On CBS.
On CBS.
Why is it on CBS?
They switched us. I'm pissed. I still want the SEC on CBS. Yeah, I hate it.
So you're telling me SEC is playing
on ABC? Yeah.
And then okay.
Yep.
So there's no Big Noon this week? There's no Big Noon.
Maybe that's
how do they
Iowa
grab
State?
every freaking Ohio State game, but they don't grab the only other top 5 Big Ten matchup? How does this happen?
They wanted the primetime matchup.
It usually is big. It's usually Big Noon.
All right. I think I'm feeling the Pony Express here. I'm feeling the Pony Express. I think they can run the ball. I think they've been able to run the ball all season. I think they've gotten better all season. I like SMU to beat Clemson this weekend and solidify themselves in the playoffs here.
I don't know.
I know. I don't know for sure either, but I'm just feeling it. I don't like them as favorites though. I wish they weren't favorites. I wish Clemson were the favorites going into this game. Magoo, give me Clemson. He also says congratulations.
Thank you, Magoo. Thank you.
Give me Clemson, please, God.
I'm probably going to go Magoo here. Go with Clemson. Because I feel like this will come down to coaching. Dabo's been here too many times to count. SMU's coach, this is all new ball game for them in a lot of different ways. They're not used to these. They're not used to these big play-in games, these games that have these implications. We're talking implications.
Okay, implications.
Yeah, no, I think Clemson will outcoach SMU here. I think that's what it's going to come down to. So yeah, give me Dabo and Clay and Cade.
10-4. You know, we forgot to lock things. There we go. All right. Last game until the playoffs, everybody. Well, until the bowl season. Then we'll come out y'all with a bowl extravaganza. Penn State at Oregon, well, at Lucas Oil Stadium versus Oregon. Oregon's 3.5-point favorites here. I think it'll be a close game, but get me the Ducks. They're undefeated. I think they're going to be the only undefeated team going into the playoffs.
Yeah, they are. Nah, man, this is the one. It's James.
He has to.
It's James Franklin's time. James Franklin, it's his time. He is. This is the moment we've all been waiting for. It's going to be James losing again in a top 5 matchup. Give me the Ducks.
Give you the Ducks. I'm going to play the double locks. James Franklin.
I'll tell you what. Oregon ain't going to come out there and play some freaking cover 0 like Maryland. So.
No, they're not. They're going to be all over you. And, the Oregon fan base can't be more hype. After today signing the amount of guys they did on National Early Signing Day, there's still other guys to be coming in. If I'm an Oregon fan, I'm ecstatic right now. Number 1 team in the nation, number 1 recruiting class, or close to number 1 recruiting class. Dude, I'm ecstatic. That's all I'm saying.
Hey man, Ohio State knew what they were doing losing to Michigan. They got that bye week. They're gonna be fresh and ready to go.
Magoo, thanks for hanging out in the chat with us. You've been the solo soldier besides my brother in here, and he was saying Florida State might squeak in, so we didn't play any of that because go Gators. We finally got one on Florida State after 2 years.
Well, this is usually how the tides turn, you know?
Yeah.
This is how the rivalry works. This is the one rivalry where it's like one team's dog shit and one team's great, and they don't play up to each other's standards or down to the others. It's if the one team sucks, they're gonna play horrible. But usually how it happens
At least
is
they haven't since like the 90s.
how it always has happened is they'll play a close game, the good team will win, then the next year the bad team previously will get that win, and then they'll blow them out the next year, then the close game, and then the other team wins. That's how it's been. It's a weird thing. But, last year played them close. This year gets the win. Handled them.
Yeah,
handled them.
Handled them. DJ Lagway just told that defensive lineman, he said, get off.
That first
get
off.
off me.
That play, I was like, as a football fan, as a Florida fan, as just a fan of college football, that play.
That was amazing. And that's payback for Jordan Travis running around all nimbly-bimly like 2 years ago in Tallahassee, breaking every single person's legs.
I want to play that. I want to play that play though, because that was when I saw that.
We'll go back through. We'll definitely go back through it sometime. We got to wrap it up tonight. I got shit to do. Thank you guys for tuning in. I got a pack for Rhode Island this weekend, so I'll be up there trying to get interviews on the Real Swampcast Network, so tune in here for all that LP stuff if you're nerdy like that. But college football regular season, done. It's in the books. 2024 is over. We're creeping up on bowl season and the playoffs. And oh yeah, who do you think's going to win the Heisman?
It's going to be Travis.
I think it's going to be Travis
unless Ginty puts up 253 touchdowns
in this game, in the championship game.
Because if Ginty does that, it puts him second all time.
Yeah.
And then they would win, go to playoffs. Depending on then, he could break Sanders' record, which would be played with a lot more games, but still, it would be the most in a season. But I think it would be Heisman gets announced not this week, but the next, right?
Yeah. I got Travis Hunter win too. He just played both sides of the field.
When he played the way he played last week, it was his best game he's played statistically. So I feel like this is it's Travis's. Unless Ginty comes out there and puts up his unreal game, it's Yep.
Sorry, FSU fans. Rough season for you guys. You don't get a bowl game, but maybe you'll get Joey back on the show next year because you'll be a little bit better.
Yeah.
So we'll see.
So you know what's crazy? We had like 2 episodes of Joey. We had 2 Florida State wins. It works, right?
That's right. That's right. Boom. All right. Thank you, guys. Ronan, I promise I'll have a tall one for you. I don't have anything to drink here right now, but adios, everybody. Thank you for joining. Peace out.